1. Hook. You're deciding between AWS Lambda and EC2 for your next project. Which one really costs less? Spoiler alert, it's not as straightforward as you think. 3. The simple explanation. Let's break it down. AWS Lambda is serverless. You only pay when your code runs. If you have sporadic traffic, this can be cheaper. Pricing is based on requests and execution time. EC2, on the other hand, is a virtual server. You're charged for the instance uptime, regardless of usage. This works well for consistent workloads but can lead to wasted resources if demand fluctuates. Lambda, pay-as-you-go. Great for unpredictable workloads. EC2, flat rate for uptime. Better for steady traffic. 4. Real-world example. Imagine a startup called Snackly. They launched an app for snack delivery that spiked in popularity during lunch hours. Initially, they chose Lambda because they expected variable traffic. In their first month, they had 10,000 user requests, with an average execution time of 500 milliseconds. Here's how the costs broke down. Lambda pricing, 20 cents per 1 million requests and $0.00016667 per gigabyte second. Total requests cost, 10,000 requests, 1,020 cents equals 2 cents. Total execution cost, 10,000 requests 0.5 seconds 128 megabytes, 1,024 megabytes $0.00016667 equals 1 cent. Snackly's total Lambda cost for the month, 3 cents. However, as they grew, their traffic increased to 100,000 requests per day. Keeping the same execution time, their Lambda bill skyrocketed. New requests cost, 100,000 requests 30 days, 1,020 cents equals 60 cents. New execution cost, 100,000 times 0.5 times 128, 1,024 $0.00016667 equals 8 cents. 68 cents per month. Not bad, but they also faced cold start times, up to 300 milliseconds for infrequent functions, which frustrated users. Snackly pivoted to EC2 with a T3. Medium instance, costing around $0.0416/hour. For a month, it would run about $30. Their traffic stabilized, but they were paying for idle capacity during off hours. Ultimately, Snackly learned to balance costs between Lambda and EC2, using Lambda for burst traffic and EC2 for steady loads. 5. What to do instead. So, how do you choose between Lambda and EC2? Here's a framework. Step 1. Assess your traffic patterns, identify demand. Is your traffic steady or variable? Use analytics tools to make data-driven decisions. Thresholds. If your application has fewer than 1,000 requests per day, Lambda may be best. For more than 10,000 daily, consider EC2. Step 2. Estimate your costs. Lambda, use the AWS calculator. Factor in requests and execution time. EC2, calculate instance type costs and potential idle time. Step 3, factor in cold starts. If your Lambda functions have long idle periods, expect cold starts. If they exceed 200 milliseconds regularly, consider EC2. Step 4, optimize and monitor. Use AWS CloudWatch for Lambda and EC2. Monitor usage regularly and adjust. Set alerts for when costs exceed defined thresholds. Step 5, be flexible, don't hesitate to pivot. If your initial choice isn't working out, adapt your strategy. Use a hybrid approach where it makes sense. 6. Common mistakes. Here are 5 common pitfalls when choosing between Lambda and EC2, along with how to avoid them. Mistake 1, ignoring traffic patterns. Many startups overlook their actual traffic patterns. Fix, analyze past data for at least 3 months to gauge demand. Mistake 2, not considering cold starts. Cold starts can slow down your application. Fix, if you notice regular cold starts over 200 milliseconds, switch to a more stable service. Mistake 3, failing to track costs without monitoring, costs can spiral. Fix, set up AWS budgets to alert you when expenses exceed a certain amount. Mistake 4, over-provisioning EC2 instances. Choosing a larger instance than needed leads to wasted resources. Fix, start small. Use AWS's sizing recommendations to find the right instance type. Mistake 5. Not testing hybrid models. Many stick to one service when a hybrid model could work better. Fix. Pilot test a hybrid setup. Use Lambda for peak periods and EC2 for steady traffic. 7. Quick checklist. Assess your traffic patterns. Estimate your costs using AWS calculators. Monitor for cold starts. Set up cost tracking and alerts. Stay flexible with your deployment model. 8. Summary plus CTA and summary. Choosing between Lambda and EC2 isn't just about costs. It's about understanding your workload and being proactive in cost management. Evaluate your traffic, estimate costs, and monitor usage. If you found this breakdown useful, drop a comment below on your experiences with Lambda and EC2. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical cloud insights. Bonus practical tip: if you're unsure what to pick, start with the simplest option that ships today. Then measure for 7 days, latency, errors, deploy time, and cost. Only upgrade when metrics force the decision, not fear.